We're live. Good evening, bonsoir, Ani, and welcome to our regular meeting of council. As I normally do on the first meeting of the month, I turn it over to the deputy mayor. So to you, Renee.
Thank you, Mayor Peugeot. I first would like to begin the meeting by acknowledging that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty Area and wish to recognize the neighboring community of Doki's First Nation. While we meet today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationship between nations and to improving our own understanding of local indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nation people that call this land home. And with that, we have I need a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Willie and Councillor Dave. We do have an addition. We're going to add 6.1.2, which is a report about the water, the tipping fees.
Yes.
Caused by the flooding. So I need a mover and a seconder to add that. Councillor Roger and Councillor Willie.
It is moved and seconded. Be it resolved that the agenda be adopted as amended. So add item 6.1.2, a report for the temporary relief of tipping fees to those affected with the flooding.
All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. We have no delegations tonight. So we'll continue on to reports and items for consideration. 6.1.1, flood monitoring and watershed conditions update. And I believe Mark Garcia will speak to this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the last 22 days have been very hectic for a lot of people within our region, and we completely understand that. We're still experiencing high levels. The nice thing is at least they've stabilized and are not continually rising. So we've been on that trajectory for the past 7 days. From this afternoon's meeting with the Frechette Committee and with the outlook of weather forecast for the next 5 days, it seems that we'll be still trending that way. The nice thing is the Lake Nipissing levels have also started to stabilize, and we were informed this afternoon that we're still at risk of consistent heavy rains affecting the whole system. But if the weather pattern holds the way it is, we should be starting to see some relief starting early next week in terms, because the inflows into Lake Nipissing have now reached the discharge levels. And so they're projecting being able to provide some relief at that point in time. In terms of sandbagging efforts, we're no longer manning the Albin site. There's been a significant decrease in people picking up bags. That being said, there's still pre-filled bags available in Albin that people can coordinate to pick up on their own. We'll monitor those piles to make sure that they're replenished. And if people are requiring some sandbags themselves, we do have them available here at the municipal office. Other than that, everything's at risk of heavy rains. As we're getting into the month of May, we're hoping that the trees are starting to flourish and the greenery starts coming out to be able to observe some of that precipitation that will greatly assist, in, as well as evaporation would be pretty significant assistance. There's still snow-packed sections in Martin River and in Temagami, elevations of approximately 230% above normal for this time of year. So there's still a little bit of water within the system. The systems up north, the storages are all at capacity. We're nearing capacity and are also into their flood limits in Temagami. So that basically just gives you an understanding of where we're going and hopefully seeing relief within our end starting next week.
Okay, thank you,
Councillor
Mark.
Dean, if you have anything to add.
Put your button on.
I've just been watching a little on my computer with the reports that are coming, but I'm kind of wondering, is the lake actually at a flood level? It did reach that flood level?
And actually with, as you're aware, Councillor Dean, with the elevated winds, it has a big impact on the lake. They were hitting 196.45 yesterday.
Okay, just wanted to kind of, I'm just kind of want to be sure that if we're taking all this hit down here, that they're taking a little up there. It just bothers me a lot to think that they've dumped water out of the lake and put us in a situation that we're in and aren't suffering a little up there too. So as long as they're sharing them, it's not much else we can do. I haven't participated too much in the calls because things have been steady at home. The water level has been steady now for over a week and we just need to see it go down. It's high yet.
Absolutely, and that's what we're trying to work towards. Today's meeting was a little bit interesting. There was some complaining from some communities on the lake that were arguing that they were taking too much of the brunt, but I have to compliment the dam officials who came to our defense and explained the situation and said that we're doing more than our fair share.
Well, that's been my feeling, that Kyle, the folks at the dam have been very sympathetic to what happens down here too. They're not, and I don't mean to the benefit of us only. They're trying to share it. So I think that's the fairest thing that we can ask for.
Also, Madam Chair, if you may, for council's information, not sure how many people have seen the water, the map of the watershed. So and we posted that in council chambers for your reference if you want to have a look at it.
That might be a lot of data.
Thank you, Mark. So we'll continue on to 6.1.2. We have a report. So I believe we will need a mover and a seconder. This is for the tipping fees.
Yeah.
You want to report first? Okay, go
Through
ahead.
you, Madam Chair, if I may, since it was an agenda item that was added and we didn't get a chance to post it on our agenda. As you're all aware, some council members, the mayor, some staff have been receiving calls for assistance for relief of tipping fees at the landfill for those affected from the floods. You'll notice that Kevin was kind enough to prepare a report for council this evening if you wish to consider waiving the tipping fees for those residents affected. We're also recommending if you want to do that, that we'll have a system in place to register the addresses and keep track of what the costs are, because it does have an impact on our revenues at the landfill, and that we cap it to a maximum of approximately $4,000. And should we reach that or surpass that, to come back to council to notify you. So we drafted a proposed resolution for council's consideration if that's if that's the wish of council to move forward with. I'll leave it up to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Seeing none, so I would need a mover, Councillor Bob and Councillor Roger.
It's moved and seconded, whereas the municipality has experienced recent flooding events that have resulted in damage to private properties. And whereas residents are required to dispose of flood damage materials at the municipal landfill as part of cleanup and recovery efforts. And whereas council recognizes the financial burden associated with the disposal of flood damage materials and wishes to provide temporary relief to affected residents. Now therefore be it resolved that council of the municipality of French River authorizes a temporary waiving of landfill tipping fees for residents disposing of flood damage materials resulting from recent flooding events. And be it further resolved that the total value of tipping fees waived under this program shall not exceed a maximum of $4,000. And be it further resolved that staff be directed to implement appropriate tracking and administrative controls to ensure accountability and to report back to council should the approved financial limit be reached.
Mark, can I just ask just a quick question? I'm all in favor of this, but those that put in an insurance claim, are they getting a receipt or no receipt for tipping? The tipping fees? They
And
wouldn't get one because they're not paying them.
if they're being charged, there is a receipt.
Okay,
Any transaction at the landfill, there is a receipt transaction made.
okay, thank you. So all in favor? Okay, very good, thank you. 6.2, finances is nil. 6.3, public works and environmental services. 6.3.1, we have a resolution to adopt a bylaw to authorize the landfill monitoring and consulting engineering services extension agreement. And I believe everybody had a chance to read the report that's in here. No real changes since the last, pretty much the same. So if we're all okay with that, I would get a mover and a seconder. Oh, one question for you. Go ahead, Counselor Willie.
Thank you very much. I'm just, I sent in a couple questions. I was just with regards to, I know we're renewing the contract for XPS, and I'm just curious if we did look at, it does make sense to renew the contract and bring the same people in with the same expertise. I think, so there's no start and stop luggage and costs associated with that. So that does make sense. I'm just wondering, are we aware if we still have a cost saving? So do we still go out and see what the cost would be to bring another engineering firm on? Just make sure that they're on the same page with respects to costing.
Go ahead, Mark.
It's through you, Madam Chair. To answer your question, this whole contract was awarded by an RFP originally. And if you read through the report, they've been very consistent within what they've been charging for the monitoring fees from year to year, and the extension stays within the same amounts. So we're comfortable in saying that they won the RFP originally with the costing that they did provide within the competition, and those rates have remained relatively the same. So to say that we've gone out to double check these, no, we haven't. But that being said, once this project is complete, then we will be going back out for the monitoring fees as an RFP going forward in the future.
One more follow-up. So we see the time horizon of when this being complete.
Good question.
That's an excellent question. Through you, Madam Chair. We've been working on this file since 2012 in terms of trying to address the expansion and environmental assessment approvals for the expansion of the landfill. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I can't give you an exact timeline, but if this is prepared and approved, it'll extend this phase, it'll extend the lifespan of our landfill 50 to 60 years. And there's another option that we want to consider once this is done in terms of providing another 80 to 100 year capacity within those ranges. You'll see from the auditor's report next week that's coming to next council, that's coming to the council. We have approximately 12 years remaining in capacity within the landfill approvals that we have now. So we've been working diligently for the future of the community and the municipality to ensure the landfill is there for a long time to come to serve the community.
That satisfies my questions. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, any more questions? Counselor Bob?
Not a question, but just a comment to say that our staff at the landfill, they must be doing a good job because 6 years ago, we had a lifespan of 13 years left. 6 years after, we're at 12 years. So somebody's doing a good job somewhere, and thank you to those people, to you, Mark, and your staff.
Just a comment. Thank you. That's appreciated, and I'm sure staff appreciates it too. But it's the efforts that council supported in our recycling program that make the big difference in trying to alleviate that.
And we can't forget the people that are recycling. It was nice this morning to see all the blue boxes out there. I was impressed. There was lots. Oh, they didn't make your road. Hmm. Oh, well, nice to see the boxes out there. At least people are trying.
out there too.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll contact, I don't know who we would contact, company, I guess, eh? So with that, we need a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the resolution. So Counselor Willie and Counselor Dave.
It is moved and seconded, be it resolved that bylaw 2026-26, being a bylaw to authorize the landfill monitoring and consulting engineering agreement renewal
Be passed.
agreement with EXP Services, Inc. be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? 6.3.2, we have the quarterly report for Public Works Department. Kevin is not here, but the report is there. Do you guys have any questions about it, or seeing none? We'll continue on. 6.4, Recreation Community Services is nil. 6.5, Emergency and Protection Services. 6.5.1, the quarterly report. Again, it is in the agenda package. If anybody have any question pertaining to that? No? We'll continue on. 6.6, Building and Planning. 6.6.1, we have the quarterly report, the Building Control Department. Andrea is here and she can speak to this.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. I'll speak quickly about building numbers. We look comparable to last year, and it's a comparable start to Q1 as the last few years. But really, the big news in the department is the changes in staffing and also authorities that are coming our way. So Building Inspector Bruno Roy has submitted his resignation and will not be returning for 2026. I would like to thank him publicly to help for his help in helping us to build a strong department since working for us since 2019, and for being a great representative for all the member municipalities of SEBS. All member municipalities of SEBS have been granted septic authority to be able to grant septic permits. This was announced a couple of weeks ago, and that we would be granted the authority on November 1st, 2026, so within this year. It's exciting news. Yes, I'll just go through it and then we'll talk about each point if that's okay, because there's so much news. CBO and staff have met with Public Health Sudbury districts to discuss the handover of authority. And even since this report has gone in, there have been further meetings and discussions about how this will work. In anticipation of these changes, because we had been contacted by MMAH over the last few months, we had assumed that this was going to be coming. We thought maybe in 2027, but we had begun a succession plan of training within our department to have our senior bylaw enforcement officer train for building inspector duties. And so we have him ready as an inspector. So we'll be making some recommendations to council on how we would like to move forward with the department as far as staffing levels with our current building and bylaw inspectors. We anticipate having training in place before the handover on November 1st, and you will be seeing a new draft bylaw for building that will include new building permits for septic and some changes that we'd like to implement since we're bringing the bylaw forward. So all that to say, I'm here to answer any questions.
Wow, you've been busy. Does anyone have any questions for Andrea? We have none. Good job. I think it's great news that, Counselor Dean does have a question for you.
Maybe I missed it in what you were saying, but when are we apt to be taking over the sewage stuff?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. November 1st, 2026. It's already been changed in the Building Code Act for our 4-member municipalities to have that authority granted.
Okay, so
Mhm.
all 4 municipalities are gonna have the same authority.
Yes, through the shared service agreement, through my authority as CBO. But yeah, it's all happening.
Thank you, Andrea.
No problem.
Just have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is the first time I see the government move so fast on changing legislation, because normally when I was told, I was so surprised it was like done. And not only that, that you're to take over November 1st, which your head must be spinning. But congratulations, nice work.
Thank you. And it is.
Hey, thank you very much. So with that, we'll continue on with correspondence. 7.1, we have a resolution to declare the 47th Family Ball Tournament being held August 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2026 as a community event of municipal significance, Le Tournoi de Balle de Famille. So I need a mover, Councillor Bob and Councillor Dean.
It is moved and seconded. Be resolved, the council declares the 47th Family Ball Tournament being held August 7th to the 9th as a community event of municipal significance.
All those in favor? Okay, we have the consent agenda. I need a mover and a seconder for this. Councillor Willie and Councillor Dave.
Be resolved, the council approves the items of the consent agenda under section 8.1 and receives the items under section 8.2.
All those in favor? Good. We have no items separated from the consent agenda, no notices of motions. We'll continue on with announcements and inquiries. So, Councillor Roger. Is your mic on?
What I'd like to say, basically will be directed to council and staff in this. I know elections are in the process, of taking names for nominations. And basically, this is my first term, or coming to the end. And again, like I said, directed to council. We accomplished a lot in the last 4 years. Did some, very good work, brought out some very good items. And if you are, if you are thinking of not running, don't do it. You don't realize how important you are to the community. You were part of this council, which made it work. I heard great things from people saying that we work in a good way. There's been no real argument, but everybody stands by their points. And then when their point is worked out, it's again, total agreement. So, and the reason I said staff, because I hope that staff backs me up on this. So to make you guys really, really feel bad if you don't plan on running. But please do. Like I said, you're an important part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roger. Bob?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few things to say. Last Saturday was the Rod and Guns fundraising fish fry. I know they served over 330 plates. It was a great success. Everything ran smoothly. Thank you to the Rod and Gun. April 18th was our Earth Day. We had 29 exhibitors, 330, 40 people, not counting children. So we were at the 400 mark. was well attended, considering state of emergency, floods, road washouts, a terrible weather day. I think it was a great success. May 28th will be the grand opening of L'Horizon, our seniors complex. There'll be more information on this coming out before the 28th. This Saturday, May 9th, is our hazardous waste collection at the dump site. So yeah, I know it's very well advertised. It was sent out with the tax bill, but just a little reminder to the residents that it's our only day of the year. May 18th to the 23rd is free tipping at the landfill site for our week that we give free. And just for on water levels, just for your information, my lake, Bear Lake, measured yesterday, it's down from when it crested 5 feet 7 inches. And I got about another 18 inches to go to normal, but our end is coming down. And with that, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Yes, Councillor Roger.
There's one thing I forgot to mention when Bob mentioned Earth Day being a success. It's a success because of what the amount of work that Councillor Bob puts in. I think without him, it wouldn't happen. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Councillor Willie.
I just want to speak to current events a little bit. I think those around me know how upset I am with the water level. And I have to thank Mark. He's really put up with me because he supplied all the information I've been asking for. As was reported on earlier, we've been sitting in flood for almost a month now. And we are at record flood levels, over 100-year flood levels we're sitting over. Moving forward, we're going to have to really evaluate how this water system is managed. We can't keep doing the same thing and having the same results over and over again. I think that there has to be a concerted effort into looking at things, evaluating how things are done, and coming up with different ways of managing this system. It's just as putting people out, and the inconsistency is it's hard to bear. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Willie. Mayor Peugeot.
Just want to remind everybody that on June 5th, it's Seniors Day, and we'll be celebrating all the seniors in French River. And as usual, we ask council to come and do dishes and serve lunch to the seniors. Festivities begin at 10, but if you're coming just to help out, I would say get there by 11:45. I think that would be plenty of time. June the 5th, it's a Friday. And that'll be a lot of fun. 3 citizens will be honored, one from Albin, one from Noelville, one from Monetteville. All politicians will be attending. So we're expecting, last year we had about 160 people, so we're preparing for about 175 people. I want to thank all our sponsors that have made this possible for the municipality, and that's wonderful. The 2 seniors club, Albin and Noelville, are getting together on June 30th for what they call a pie party. So your entrance is you have to bring a pie, either savory or sweet. And last year it was fun, eh? Oh, that's a good idea. So last year they had, oh my God, there must have been about 90 people that participated between the 2, which is nice to see. And over, well, there was over 90 pies, right? So you line up, you get a sliver of this and a sliver of that and a sliver of this. And then you go home and you have a nap for about 2 hours afterwards because it's so good. Yeah. And I also, there's a couple of farmers that keep bringing us at the food bank fresh eggs. And there's one farmer, he keeps leaving the eggs there and taking off and won't give me his name anyway. If ever he's listening, I want to thank them for the eggs because that's something we don't get. And plus they're fresh, so they won't last very long once we give them out there. But our families have been very appreciative. I was doing preparing my reports for DSAB, and we hit 103 families last month. So we're over the 100, and that's not good news. But anyway, it is what it is, and we haven't heard from DSAB yet. Perhaps Councillor Roger, you can check when you go to DSAB, not next week, the week after, to see what our budget is going to be for the year. I'd appreciate that, so then we can plan.
Yeah, that's my plan, is trying to find, get an answer and also get an increase in our allotment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the meantime, what we're doing in order to serve everybody, to make sure that they have enough food, some of the fundraising money that we fundraised over the last few years, we're using to purchase food at a discounted rate. So, but it's going along fine. It's just sad that we have so many families. Yesterday, I served a family of 6 kids and 2 adults, and I'm going, oh my God. Anyway, it is what it is, and we do what we can. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor Pajot. Councillor Dean?
I will just have a few comments about water levels. The situation we have as it is this year is not much different than a lot of other ones I've seen over the years, the floods. I was a participant on an M&R study that was done on trying to find ways to cope with water problems, water level problems on the system. That means from the upper part of that watershed to what gets down into the French River and down into Georgian Bay. And they came up with some thinking that never got anywhere as far as being able to be funded, or that M&R wanted to participate in. I think most of you know that the dams themselves are operated by the federal government. And it's interesting that it's the only one they have in Canada, that the federal government operates dams within the country. And they've been doing this one right from the time they were built. But the province, the federal government has made several overtures to the province to take the dams over. But M&R wants no part of them. You can imagine why, because they're nothing but trouble. And there's no way out of the problems that come with those dams. It's been that way. We've been here for almost 70 years. This is about the 5th or 6th time I've seen the floods like this, and even worse than this a couple of times. And there have been attempts made to alleviate the problem by allowing more water out of the river at greater amounts, faster, and when the situation gets bad. As a result, they did a bunch of blasting up in Horseshoe Bay at the Horseshoe Falls, trying to get more water into the Pickerel. Same thing in Indian Bay behind the golf course down there. They blasted that. They've done some blasting in the lower river, which wouldn't make any difference to us anyway. But none of it has really helped. None of it has really helped. And I have not yet heard anybody with an answer to this, except that for those of us down here, be prepared. That's all I can say. Be prepared, because it's going to happen again. And if you think there's anything we can do about it, I'd like to hear it, because we could take it to them very easily. Market could do it too. But there are no real answers for this, because if we get the right conditions, which we had this year, that much snow held in there for a long period of time. Not an easy melt, a rapid melt when it did start to go, along with a considerable amount of rain. The combination is deadly. For us especially, but even the lake is hurting now. And they know it too. And nobody has come up with any solutions to this in a long-term fashion. I think that's all I need to say.
Just a couple of points that I forgot to mention at the start. From March 1st to April 14th, our area received 210 millimeters of rain, of precipitation. In the beginning of April, for the first 2 weeks, we were at 221% of participation above normal. Just to give you an idea of the volumes of water that we were trying to deal with, not just in the watershed, but locally within our own systems. So just a couple of points that I forgot to mention. Thank you.
I think I said enough.
Counselor Dave?
I don't have very much to add, but I'd like to thank Andrea and whatever else staff worked on getting the authority for septic systems. I'm pretty sure Mark did a lot on that, and but I'd like to thank staff for that. Was a lot of work. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to just say that wish all the mothers happy Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms, because that's this weekend. And not one of the guys mentioned it. I know they're thinking about it, but so I was gonna, you're just about to say something, eh, Dave? So happy Mother's Day. Oh, that's what it is. So to everybody out there, and I think like you said, Mark, combination of all that rain and the fast melt, and you know, we had flooding where we never normally have flooding. You know, normally it's the lakes and that, but this year we had a lot of our side roads flooding because the ground was still frozen and the water still coming down and couldn't go anywhere. So I think we, you know, had to juggle both ends. So hopefully that doesn't happen too often, but I'm sure, like Dean said, it's gonna happen again. Seems to be a cycle. We're gonna always hope for better weather every year, and hopefully I know there's still more water to come down as it melts in the north. They still have some snow, so we're gonna hope that it's minimal. I know that the lakes they were below levels in the fall. The water was very low, and for them to get, you know, flooding on Lake Nipissing was, you know, extremely not something they even would have thought was possible because the water was so low in the fall. So let's hope that it's seen its end for this year. Other than that, I don't have much to report. That's about it. Staff, are you guys good? Good. All right, so we are off to Phenom this week. So me, Bob, and Giselle have Phenom Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So hopefully we'll gather some good information and come back with some stuff. It's in Timmins this year, yes. So Councillor Roger?
Yeah, going to what you mentioned, Renee, about Mother's Day. I think I'm gonna do my part. I'm taking Mother Mayor out for brunch.
That's very nice of you, Roger.
And mention, going back to what,
Get the flowers.
Mayor Giselle said about the family of 8. Where did they come from? Like, I know where the kids came from, but did they move into the area or,
Been here 6 months.
and no work or?
Yeah, one works. The other one, because there's so many kids, daycare is unaffordable.
Okay, yeah. No, you know, there's a fair amount of people moving into our area, so that must say something for French River. which I'm very proud of. So, thank you.
There's also a big lack of daycare in the area. There's a big need. I know somebody that put their kids on the list 2.5 years ago, almost going on 3 years. And even though there's 7 kids moving out, like moving on to senior kindergarten or pre-kindergarten, they are not even close to being one of the first ones on the list for their kids to attend in the fall. So that's how much of a need there is in the area when it comes to daycares. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm on,
everywhere.
is there any plans that are being formed here in French River for daycare?
I think, I'm not sure. I know the daycare at the little school, is full. I believe, doesn't DSAP have anything to do with that?
Well, that's
daycare?
why,
I believe they work with the school board some way. I'm not
Yeah.
too sure.
that's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm on.
Some of the parents get funding
Yeah.
through DSAP for it.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm on the board and there's talk all the time about, well, every meeting of daycare, it's a major problem. But I would like to maybe get into a meeting with whatever daycare right now that is going on. So I could get information and take it back to the meeting, maybe try to,
I think the daycare is run through the Carrefour Francophone, if I'm not mistaken. So they would be the person to probably reach out to.
okay, all right,
We'll
thank you,
see.
thank you.
Also, one thing I read, the ambulance is building a new building in Hager. So hopefully that will help with our ambulance services and being able to provide more services out here. So I thought that was great news for the area. So and we also need to remember, as much water as we have had, it's still very dry out there. And there's been a few forest fires already started, believe it or not. So the bush is really dry, even though we got all the water. So just be careful when you're doing fires out there, and respect the 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. rule, and use it for cooking and eating only if possible. So with that, I need a mover and a seconder for the confirmation bylaw. Counselor Dean and Counselor Willie.
It is moved and seconded, be it resolved that bylaw 2026-27, being a bylaw to confirm the proceeding of council at a meeting held May 6th, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? And I need a resolution to adjourn. Counselor Dave and Counselor Roger. And thank you very much, everybody.